Hello, this is Amphra, host of the You Are My Sister talk show, and we are about to get started. It's about 5:54. We're going to listen to music until people sign on and we get signed on to the pages. If Facebook doesn't allow me to play the song that I'm about to play and we get disconnected, I will be signing back on, so you guys sign right back on with me. Hi, Tashir. I'm going to be playing today some Biggie, some Juicy, as we wait for people to sign on. And like I said, if we get disconnected, I will be signing right back on. Sometimes Facebook won't let us play certain music, but today I want to play some Biggie. So hold on. I hope we don't get disconnected. Just hold on. We're going to play some music here till 6 o'clock. And everything on the computer just amazes me still.
Fuck all you hoes. Yeah. This album is dedicated to all the teachers that told me I never amount to nothing. To all the people that lived above the buildings when I was hustling before they called the police on me when I was just trying to make some money to feed my daughter. And all the niggas in the struggle. You know what I'm saying? It's all good, baby. It was all a dream. I used to read Word Up magazine. Something pepper and heavy D up in the limousine. Hanging pictures on my wall. Every Saturday, rap attack, Mr. Magic Molly Ball. I let my tape rock till my tape pop. Smoking weed and bamboo, sipping on private stock. Way back when I had the red and black lumberjack. Remember rapping, dude? The high. You never thought that hip hop would take it this far. Now I'm in the line, like cause I rhyme tight. Time to get money, blow up like the world trade. Born sinner, the opposite of a winner. Remember when I used to eat sardines for dinner? Easter raw deep, Lucy B, chicken free. Funk Master Flex, love bug stars. I'm blowing up like you thought I would. Call a crib, same number, same hood. It's all good. And if you don't know, now you know, nigga.
You know very well. Patricia, hey, tell them I said hi. I'm Lisa, and thank you. How you doing? Oh, you know it's
I made the change from a common thief to up close and personal with Robin Leach. And I'm far from cheap. I smoke stuff with my peeps all day. Spread love is the Brooklyn way. The low weight and Alizé keep me pissy. Girls used to diss me. Now they write letters cause they miss me. I never thought it could happen. It's rapping stuff. I was too used to packing cats and stuff. Now honeys play me close like Tyler play toast. From the Mississippi down to the East Coast. Condos and Queens in dope for weeks. Sold out seats to hear Biggie Small speak. Living life without fear. Putting 5 carats in my baby girl ear. Lunches, interviews by the pool. Considered a fool. I dropped out of high school. Stereotypes of the black male misunderstood. And it's still all good. And if you don't know, now you know, nigga.
You know very well who you are. Before the start, you have to put it on your cause you're only one. How did you do it?
Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis. When I was dead, I see pictures of 50-inch screen, money green leather sofa. Got 2 rides, a limousine with the chauffeur. Phone bill about 2 G's flat. No need to worry, my accountant handles that. And my whole crew's lounging, celebrating every day, no more public housing. Thinking back on my one-room shack. Now my mom pimps an act with mix on the back. And she loves to show me off, of course. Smiles every time my face is up in the sauce. We used to fuss when the landlord dissed us. No heat, wonder why Christmas missed us. Birthdays was the worst days. Now we sip champagne when we thirsty. Yeah, I like the life I live. Cause I went from negative to positive. Turns all good. And if you don't know, now you know.
You know very well who you are.
And if you don't know,
This is time. I think you are doing a great job. Keep up the good work. 19 minutes. Please share this on your page, y'all.
and if you don't
That's
know,
how I ask
back to know. Represent Big Town in the house. Jimmy Hopkins, Black Tape.
Well, I think Facebook for that listening. It's almost I got a special oh yeah, that's what they're gonna show in the show too. All right, it's 6 o'clock. That was 94, that song. Still a hit after all these years. All righty. Hi, everybody. This is Amfra, host of the You Are My Sister talk show. Thank you guys for joining. Please share this page, share this feed on your page. I need your support. I'm excited today, as I am always every Sunday with every guest that I have. And this guest today, his name is Brian Tillman. He's an author. He's an entrepreneur. He's an investor. But he used to be, and that's a testimony within itself. Look at the love already. He used to be, his bio when he sent me said he used to be a drug dealer, a gangbanger, right? Doing crime and violence in the neighborhood. And he went to jail. And he's out now. He's changed his life. He's trying to help our young Black men to change their lives. Look at all the love coming across the screen. And he is someone that I really wanted to talk to because I believe that our Black men today need to stand up. Need to stand up and stand for something. And I believe that that is what you are doing. And that's you are a testimony as to how God can change and transform your life sometimes when he sits us down. So welcome, Brian. Welcome to the Yams talk show. Look at the love. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I don't even know where to start. We have so much to talk about. I do want to just say hi to the people who have joined so far. Tasha Jones, my cousin, Beverly Harper, Dennis Taylor, Gloria Malone. Thank you, Gloria, for watching. Victoria Warren, Reginald Winston, Veronica Judd Lawrence. Thank you. Karen Davis from Minneapolis, and Azur Ra has joined. I think I met you in Detroit, Azur, I believe. But anyway, look at all the love. We're going to talk today. Our topic today is how can we keep our young Black boys from being involved in drugs, in gangs, and violence, and crime, and to respect themselves and to respect women and to be productive Black men. And Brian is going to give us his insight on what steered you in that direction in the beginning and how you transformed your life. Welcome again, Brian. Tell me a little bit, just give me a little bit of your history. Well, 17 years ago, however long, wherever you want to start. Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in the Claver Home and the Foot Home Housing Project in South Memphis. Okay.
Around what time frame? What year did you come out of school? Did you graduate? Or
I graduated from Booker T. Washington in 1991.
1991, just as the crack epidemic hit our streets in Memphis.
Absolutely.
Late 80s, early 90s.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. So you did graduate.
Yes, ma'am.
And after you graduated, what type of student were you, first of all?
Actually, I was.
You got to give me that gum. I forgot about that.
Actually, I was an honor roll student.
Wow.
I was very intelligent in school, so.
All righty.
You know.
So you didn't have the D's and F's in high school, okay?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So you told me in your bio that you've gotten involved on the wrong track. When did that happen in your life? Was it a slow progression, or did you graduate from high school and say, I don't want to do nothing? Where did this all start with you?
No, it started very young in my life. Actually, I grew up in a home to where my brother went to prison early on in my life, and I grew up in the home.
Your older brother?
Yes, ma'am. With my two sisters, along with my mother.
Okay. No father figure?
No father figure.
Okay. Did you know your dad?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Okay. All right.
But at the early age of 10, I was big for my age, so I started hanging with the older men in the neighborhood. And I started to see and be exposed to things that I desire for myself, material things, clothes, cars, jewelry.
The fast life.
Exactly.
Okay.
So
you were smart.
Yes, ma'am.
And you were disciplined. Your mom had did she have a good, firm hand on you? Would you say?
Well, actually, growing up, until I was about 13, my mom was actually in the street.
Okay.
So therefore, I lived with my older sister, which was 15 years older than me.
Okay. Because I ask these questions because it is a grand sum of our lives that determine the directions that we go. You know what I mean? Everything that affects a child, from the smallest thing to the biggest thing, has a purpose, or that's not the word I want to use. It shapes who you are. Okay, so your childhood, you grew up with your sister, and you grew up and you saw the fast life. You saw how the people in your neighborhood were doing or living. I
was exposed to every negative attribute possible.
Okay, name some. Just give me a few examples.
Well, being from the foot homes, yes. You know, everybody knows about Vance and Ford. Vance Street was the legendary, prostitution stroll. Yes. So, I seen pimping, I seen all the boosters, I seen drug pushers, I seen robbers.
Yes.
I seen everything.
So the whole full spectrum, you saw it all. Okay, and you were a little boy in the midst of it.
Yes, ma'am.
Being influenced by it.
Well, actually, I lived on Hand Mall. I actually lived on the dope track. My driveway was the track.
Okay, when you say the dope track, tell us what, because some people like me don't know all of the terms, but the dope track, tell us what that means.
Well, the track was where
I know the whole track.
Cocaine was being distributed 24/7.
Okay. Even though nobody in that community owned a poppy field.
Exactly.
So we'll talk about that. But you were living, you knew probably more about cocaine than you did about other just major things in life, right?
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely, I did.
So you knew how to measure it, how much it cost?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Actually, I started out as the lookout for the older drug dealers. Yeah. And as time progressed, I started to save my money. Okay.
So they were paying you to be a lookout?
Yes, ma'am.
What were they paying you, and how old were you?
I was 10 years old. They probably was paying me like $30, $40 a day.
More than you would make working at any McDonald's?
Yes, ma'am.
Or fast food or something like that?
Yes, ma'am.
Just to be the lookout. So what were you looking out for?
Only thing I had to do was notify them when the police was coming up the driveway.
Wow. And you would go run and tell them, would you holler police?
I would holler police. One time, 5-0. Shakers.
So we see that in Training Day with Denzel, when he goes into the apartments and, look out on the roof to look young kids. So it is really true. So you started at a young age, and so you saw how they were dressing and the cars they were driving and the money, sex money and murder, and you saw all of that.
Yes. Instant gratification became the motivation of my life.
Okay. So at 10 years old, they give you $30 a day?
A day.
What would you buy?
Well,
what was you doing with the money at that young age? Did your mom know?
No, ma'am.
Did your aunt know?
No, ma'am.
Your sister know?
No, ma'am.
So you learn to keep secrets at a young age?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so what does a 10-year-old do with $30 a day? Back in 1991, 2, in the late 80s and 90s.
Well, what I would do was I would save it.
Okay. In your drawer?
I would hide it. I would hide it all over the house.
Wow.
Until I reached a point to where I could buy a quarter ounce.
Which cost?
At the time, it probably cost like $250.
Okay. A quarter ounce of weed or cocaine?
Cocaine.
Pure cocaine?
Pure cocaine. Hydrochloride. Uncut. About 90%.
Oh my God. And you knew that calculation in your head. You learned how to count money. You learned how to know what a pound was. And
at that age,
you were getting an education, a street education.
At that age, I probably could count better backwards than a lot of people could afford.
10 years old.
Yes, ma'am.
So then by the time you graduated, you were rolling.
Yeah. And by the time I graduated, I had already did 2 juvenile stints in Shelby Training Center.
So you had gotten caught a couple of times.
Yes, ma'am.
What did you get caught for at the underage?
I was 15. I got caught with a pistol, and 28 grams, which is an ounce of cocaine.
At 15 years old?
Yes, ma'am.
You have such a humble spirit sitting here. I can't even imagine.
Well,
the person you used to be, the little boy that you used to be. You know how to shoot a gun at 15?
Yes, ma'am.
Who taught you how to shoot a gun?
Well, I learned from experience because by me running with the older crowd.
Yeah.
You know, at the time it wasn't no gangs. It was neighborhoods. So when you went to the club and individuals from your neighborhood got into a fight, you fought with them.
Yeah.
And if the fight escalated outside and somebody pulled a gun, we were prepared too. We had guns too. So, and most of the clubs were in downtown Memphis, like Studio G on Beale Street. The church right across the street from Studio G is where we hid our guns. So
at the church,
some of us.
What was the name of the church? Is it still there?
The church is still there. Actually, I don't remember.
You hid your guns around the outside of the church somewhere?
Yes, ma'am. Some of us went in the club and some of us didn't.
Yeah.
Some of them stayed outside with the guns. So if we got into an altercation inside the club, we would call outside and let them know who were outside that we had got into an altercation. And as the situation went outside, they were already prepared to do whatever needed to be done.
And this is at 15 years old. This is the late 80s.
Yes, ma'am.
When the crack epidemic had just exploded.
Yes, ma'am.
in Memphis anyway. Okay, so were you selling crack or were you selling cocaine or both?
Well, when cocaine first came to our neighborhood, we were selling powder packs. And we used to go to the head shop and buy the little
head shop? Come on, what's the head shop?
That's where they sell drug paraphernalia.
Legally.
So we would go
in the neighborhood.
In the neighborhood.
Like a corner store or something?
Well, it's set on a corner. It wasn't a corner store.
It wasn't a legal corner store.
It was on the corner.
Okay.
So we would buy the paraphernalia. They call them seals.
Okay.
And basically back then.
Seals, like you seal something up?
It's a little plastic bag with a seal on the top up.
Yeah.
And actually, you would put 2/10 of cocaine inside that package and seal it up.
2/10?
And they would sell for $10 a pack.
Pure cocaine?
Pure cocaine.
Not cut with baking soda or nothing else?
No, ma'am. Because at that time.
People just snorting at that time?
No, ma'am. A lot of people were shooting. So there was no way that you could sell somebody some soda to put in their syringe unless you were looking for some type of altercation. Okay.
So where did the needles come from?
They would get them, from pharmacies, individuals that were diabetic.
Okay.
The underworld has a way of finding everything they're looking for.
It does. And you're so true about that. So did anybody in your family, your dad, your grandmama, did they have a suspicion that you were doing drugs and selling? Were you doing drugs or just selling them at that age?
I was just selling them. Actually, I've never done drugs.
So you like Nino Brown?
Absolutely.
You gonna sell you don't sell something that you sell your brother to. So you stay clear of, because you can't be high and selling at the same time because you wouldn't be in your right mind anyway, right?
Right. Well, actually, I grew up in a house to where I got a chance to witness the effects of drugs firsthand because I had a sister and a brother that were on drugs. So,
So it was your life. It was the lifestyle. That's what you knew as a kid then, right?
Exactly.
So your loved ones, your family. So would you say, looking back over your life now, your young childhood, did the absence of your father have an effect on you, do you think?
It impacted my life in a major way because basically I went through what a lot of young men is going through today. Mm-hmm. I had an identity crisis.
That's a good way to put it. An identity crisis.
I didn't know who I was
as
a man, and the person that was supposed to teach me
yes.
who I was and how I was supposed to make the transition from a teenage boy to manhood. He wasn't there.
He wasn't there. And there were no other village, and I call it the village, men in the neighborhood that filled in or stood up to help you, to teach you, right?
Well, the thing is, all the other men in the neighborhood that I had a rapport and I had a relationship with, all of those individuals were partaking in the negative activities. Yeah. So the only thing they did was persuading me into doing what they were doing.
Yeah, because if you don't have any positive role models, children don't do what you say, they do what you do.
Exactly.
So in everybody in your life, you were repeating what you saw.
I only emulated what I was exposed
to. That's right. Children do what they see. They don't do what you tell them. They repeat the patterns that they've seen, the household that they grow up in, and the community and the environment that they grow up in. Children are video recorders. They play back what they saw you do. And so you were repeating something. You didn't know any other way. You went the way you saw everybody in the neighborhood that you laid eyes on. You were just following a pattern.
Yes.
Okay, so then, but you stayed in school during this time?
Yes, I did.
So you went to school every day?
Yes.
Graduated with decent grades?
Yes, ma'am.
And was fly and had a pack of money and selling drugs?
Yes.
So you were in school, did anybody know?
Well,
everybody
knew that I was hustling, but school was a safe haven for me.
Okay.
And coming up in the project, school was the place that you could go and flaunt and compete with other individuals in the neighborhood that were doing what you were doing.
Okay.
Actually, sometimes, in the lunchroom, sometimes, that's where the crap games went on. Sometimes before homeroom, you could sell more dope at school than you could in the neighborhood.
Oh my goodness.
So
sell more dope to more children.
Well,
or teachers or
it was two other individuals that were hustling that were going to school like you were going to school.
Okay.
Basically,
so you had competition in school.
Basically, my backpack was filled with blow rather than books.
Wow. You have a story to tell. So you had more blow, which is drugs. Cocaine in your backpack. Then you had books and pencils and papers and homework and
exactly.
And were you actually selling it inside the 4 walls of the school?
In the bathroom, absolutely.
And you're selling it to other kids,
other individuals that were hustling in the streets. That's the school was the meeting ground to cop.
Okay, so people who weren't in school was coming to school.
No, individuals that were hustling in the streets that went to school as well.
Okay.
But they were hustling.
Yeah. So there's a lot of people in the school selling drugs, is what you're saying.
That was the norm.
That was the norm. And how did you fly under the radar and the teachers not know, or the principal or parents?
Well, actually, at the young age, I mastered the art of being a multitasker. I played football, baseball, basketball. I boxed, and like I said, I was pretty much a straight A student.
Okay.
So, it was easy, to cover
because you didn't have that. You still had the mindset of being a student.
Yes. And I took my education seriously.
So you did your homework while you were selling?
Well, actually, I was actually naturally gifted to where if a teacher gave me a homework assignment, I could do it right there in the classroom before the bell rang. So a lot of people will wonder, how is it that when the honors program comes up, he's been talking and playing with us all day, but he's walking across the stage and we're in trouble. We're making D's and F.
And you're an honor roll student.
I was writing and talking at the same time.
You're an exception to part of the rule.
Pretty much.
Okay. And then, so by the time you graduated, you had done 2 stints in juvenile court or whatever, juvenile services. Okay. And how long did you stay each time?
I did like 60 days the first time.
Okay.
And I did like 6 months the second time.
Okay. And so, but you still were able to graduate on time?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So how did you do your homework and do your work while you were locked up?
Well,
was it in the summertime or something?
No, at juvenile court, you actually go to school.
Okay. So they continue with your schooling there. Okay. Wow. So look at the love. And so then you were able to graduate high school. And once you graduated, what happened?
Actually, when I was 17, I caught a case. I caught a cocaine case.
Okay.
By me have been in trouble prior.
Had a juvenile record.
Juvenile. They held my case till I turned 18 and bound me over to the state.
Okay.
So I actually ended up at 18. I went to the penitentiary the first time in 1992.
Okay. And how did they catch you? They caught you in the act of selling drugs? How were you busted?
Actually, I had served an informant, somebody that had been busted, and they basically gave me up in order to save themselves.
Yeah, we see that a lot. Yeah, okay. All right, so that so the informant turned you in so that he could cut himself a deal.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and so that they come to your. Were you still living at home after you graduated, or what?
Actually, they came to my mom's house.
Okay.
And they found the drugs there.
Okay, where you had hid them?
Where I had hid them.
Okay.
But nobody was there. So basically, it was a situation to where I wasn't on my mom's lease at the time. So basically, the drugs were my mom. So
yeah,
as a man, I wouldn't turn myself in and claim what was mine.
You did go claim?
Yes.
So that your mother wouldn't be arrested?
Absolutely.
Okay, so that you did step up to the plate.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and took ownership so that your mom wouldn't go down for something that she didn't do.
Right.
Okay, and you were 17.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, so how much time did you get for that?
I actually got what you call a 7.2 at the time. It was a mitigated sentence.
7.2 years?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
It was a mitigated sentence for nonviolent offenders. And actually, it was at 20%.
Oh, okay, so you got to break that down for me. What does mitigated mean?
It means it's a lesser sentence than what you would have normally gotten had you been a repeat offender. It was basically a sentence for first offender.
Okay, all right. So how much time did you get altogether then that first time?
I actually did 13 months.
Okay.
The first time.
In federal prison?
No, state.
State prison, which is where? What did you do that time?
Northwest Correctional Facility. It was in Tiptonville, Tennessee.
Okay, so not far from here.
About 2 hours.
Yeah, okay, yeah, all right. All right. And were you a model citizen in prison the 13 months, or did you?
Well, yes, I was, because once you make it to prison, then you're going to do whatever it takes in order to get out of prison as soon as possible. So basically, I took a trade while I was in prison, occupied my time, I worked out.
Okay, what trade did you do?
I have an apprenticeship in plumbing.
In plumbing, okay. So you still were on an educational track.
Yes, ma'am.
You still like learning, obviously.
Yes, ma'am. Okay,
and you did the whole 13 months?
Yes, ma'am. I did the whole 13 months.
Okay, and got out and?
I got out and I think I stayed out about 13 months. So basically, I got back into my illegal activities.
Okay. And you just went right back to it?
I went right back.
That's what most people do, habitual.
Yeah, I went right back.
So you got out of jail and went straight back into selling drugs?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Selling cocaine?
Yes, ma'am.
Crack?
Crack.
Okay. In South Memphis?
South Memphis.
So you went right back to the very spot where you were arrested and started the whole thing?
Right.
Okay. So you just picked up where you left off, huh?
Pretty much.
All right. And then what? Then how long did you do it this time?
I got busted again, and I ended up getting an 8-year sentence.
Okay.
So what they did,
Federal?
State. I was on state parole.
Okay.
When I caught the case. So what they did what they call stack. They stacked the parole from the 07 to the new 8 and made it a 15-year sentence. They gave me my jail credit in the time I was on the street off the 07 and made me parole now on a 15-year sentence. So I did another 2.5 years on the new 15, but
so 17 years total.
Well, I did 17 total because after I got out of doing that, I think I stayed out maybe another.
So you did, okay, first of all, the first time you went to jail for 13 years.
13 months.
13 months. And how long before you were arrested again?
13 months.
So you did 13 months in jail, got out. 13 months later, you were busted again.
Yes, ma'am.
And you did how much time that second time?
I did 2.5 years.
Okay, of state time.
State time.
Okay. And you were a model citizen again?
Absolutely.
Look like you do more better in jail.
Pretty much.
All right. And then after you did that 2 years, so you got back out.
Yes, ma'am.
And you went right back to to what you were doing?
I went right back to selling cocaine again.
So let me ask you a question then. Look at the love. And I'm going to read some of the comments here. We just have such an in-depth conversation here. After being locked up twice, what is it that makes you get out and go right back to it? What is a driving force? You didn't do it for 13 months. Was it a calling? Was it a feeling? Was it like being high? You had to get a fix? What makes you go right back and do it?
Instant gratification. The thing is, I had made it a point in my life to where selling dope had became my career.
Okay.
That was my life.
That was your life.
That's
what Biggie says.
That's how I was funding
the
lifestyle that I wanted to live. And basically to work a job.
Yes.
A
9 to 5.
The things that I had fell in love with. Basically, I was like a dope fiend. I was a junkie.
Yeah.
But I had expensive habits.
Yes.
Cars, jewelry, trips, clothes.
And a regular job, they're going to give you that.
Absolutely.
You don't get paid that kind of quick money where you can go buy nice cars and then you're going to have to answer to somebody on a 9 to 5. I get that. I understand that totally.
Yes.
Okay. So that's what's the driving force. You came right back out and everybody thinks that I won't get caught this time.
Well, the thing is, the whole time that you're in prison, you're thinking about how to do what you were doing a little bit wiser, a little bit slicker. So basically, you feel like, okay, they gave me time to master the art of my trade now.
Yes.
So
you had time to think about how to perfect what you were doing.
Yes, ma'am.
So when you got out, you had a plan.
Yes, ma'am. So I thought.
So you thought. Okay. So the second time you get out, and then what happens then? How much time goes by before you get caught again?
I actually stayed out 3 years and 2 months.
Okay.
And
did you sleep good at night?
No.
I always wondered that. How do you sleep when you know that any moment somebody could beat the door down and
like a fireman, half dressed with the windows open, ready to run at all times.
A life on the run.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
No peace.
No peace. None. Because if ain't the police looking for you, it's some gangbangers, robbers. Okay.
So it's a full-time job.
Hustling is full-time.
It's a full-time job.
And so many of our young Black men do it, but they're not getting any rest.
No.
They have no peace.
No.
They have no joy. They just have instant gratification.
Exactly. And that's the driving force in their life. That's what they live for, to buy a pair of $500 jeans.
Yes.
Have a nice chain on.
Yes.
Drive a nice car.
Yeah.
And the thing is, that same $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 car that they purchased, they drive around the same neighborhood they from 100 times. And a lot of them never leave the city.
Yeah, that's the truth. Never leave the 20-mile radius of Memphis.
Exactly.
But they are the king of the hood.
Pretty much.
Okay. And so you would think, though, over time, each generation of boys that grow up, instead of it getting better, it's getting worse. Our young Black boys. It's like the message of jail and the whole concept of going to jail or being killed, it doesn't affect them. Or does it?
No, because...
It seems like they're not afraid to die, they're not afraid to go to jail, and they're not afraid to kill anybody. But
when you come up in a neighborhood where gunplay and violence is the norm, whenever you hear gunshots, in the projects where I'm from, people don't even duck.
They don't even
That's the norm.
Like a car backfire is the norm.
You just wait on the phone to ring to figure out who got shot and where to go to be nosy.
Oh my. So it's a mentality, truthfully.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely, it's a mentality. So do they care about, at that point in your life, when you were you said you were gang banging.
Yes, ma'am.
Were you in a gang, or that's just a term you're calling?
No, actually, I was gang banging. I was actually part of a street organization.
Okay. So at some point the gangs came and you joined one, or you started one, or you...
I actually joined one after I got out of prison the second time.
Okay.
Because basically all my friends in the neighborhood that I used to roll with and ride with, doing the club thing and fighting against other neighborhoods, all of them had became a part of the organization. So basically, if a situation ensued, then, you know, I was going to ride with them anyway. Okay. So to me, it would have been, you know, ludicrous not to be a part of the organization.
So let me ask you this. All right, so everybody's selling drugs, doing drugs. What is the beef about? Why do you fight amongst each other? Over what?
Well,
turf or what?
The thing is, a lot of us as young Black men, we've been miseducated.
Yeah.
We've been misled.
Yes.
A whole lot of us just don't have the understanding that we need to have in order to be able to resolve conflict in a manner that doesn't consist of violence.
Yes.
So basically, you have individuals that are willing to die about colors.
Yeah.
And to be willing to die about streets and numbers that they don't even own a brick on.
I know. They don't own anything, truthfully, but the clothes on their back.
Exactly.
And the car that they drive, which, you know.
A lot of them don't even own the car because a lot of them are paying notes. And a lot of them are living to keep up with the Jones to impress people. Yeah. A lot of people are driving cars and hope you ask them to drop you off somewhere so you can buy them some gas. A lot of them driving around in new cars on E.
Yeah.
They faking, they fly.
Okay. So it's the most superficial lifestyle, truthfully, right? Everything is superficial, but it's real to them.
Yeah.
It's reality for them. Yeah. And so they have are they afraid of dying? Were you afraid of ever dying or being killed in the streets?
I can't say that I wasn't afraid of dying, but the motivating factor of continuing to fund the lifestyle that I had become accustomed to living, I was willing to take that chance.
You was willing to take the chance because you wanted to continue to live a life of instant gratification. And if it meant one day being killed for it, you were willing to make that sacrifice. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly.
And so that is the mentality today of our young Black men.
Exactly.
Why they have no reverence for their own lives or anybody else's. It's all about me.
Yeah, and it's sad. And even with a lot of the gang members, they don't even understand the reality that when you join a gang, you just made your mother and your father part of the gang. Because how can you say that you love your mother and your father and you'll go and get into a shootout or into a situation of violence? Yes. Someone gets shot, someone gets hurt, with the potential of you ending up in prison and you left your people out here vulnerable to fend for themselves that have nothing to do with the gang or the streets. So now a situation comes about to where now the person that has committed this crime and shot this rival gang member, he's incarcerated. So the only way that they can get back is to do something to someone that they love. Yes. So now you've left your mother and your father in a situation for them to get harmed because of your action.
Because of your action. Because when you join a gang or you become part of the street culture, you introduce and your whole family into it, whether they are volunteer, want to be in it or not. Exactly. It's not about just you anymore.
You've made them susceptible to the actions that you partake in the streets.
Yes, and that's a very selfish act, don't you think? So did you ever think about that did you ever think about the harm you put in your parents, where your mom, your grandmother, your aunts, your sisters and brothers? Did that ever cross your mind at that young age?
It did, but the thing with me, I was a part of an organization, but I never partook in the buffoonery of shootouts and violence. Okay. Basically, my role in the organization was that of distribution.
Distribution?
I was part of distributing cocaine from city to city.
Okay. So you were moving the drugs from
point
A to point B.
I was responsible from bringing drugs into the community, into the organization, to make sure everybody in the organization was able to make money. So the violence part, I kind of really...
So you was looking from a business perspective.
Exactly.
Okay. So let me ask you this. Where do you guys get the cocaine from? How does cocaine get into Binghamton, South Memphis, North Memphis, and all the Black communities? Because we don't own any poppy fields. And you guys don't either. So somebody's far up, high up, overseas somewhere, you guys have connections with.
It's readily available. The black market is very lucrative, and it's not just lucrative for us.
Okay.
So therefore, if we don't own the resources to get it to us, then we already know where it's coming from. It's self-explanatory.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's being imparted into our community in order to help us self-destruct.
It is. It's purposely.
Yes, it's designed for us to utilize it to destroy one another.
Yes, it is.
And when individuals like myself started utilizing it, not to use it to destroy my own self, and utilizing it to make money, then they lock me up and pull away the key.
Yeah, but the game and it still keeps happening. Yes. It's a two-sided coin in one sense, because once you get locked up, you become a part of another enslaved system.
Oh, you definitely become a slave, because they're going
slave in the street or a slave in prison.
They're going to make money off you if you're
either way.
Incarcerated, because it costs to live anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
If you're in prison, you have to buy commissary, you have to make calls home. You need hygiene.
Yeah.
And if you work a job in prison, which you are, basically you're going to make 17 cents an hour for a job that you wouldn't work on the street for $10 an hour. So now you've become a slave.
Yeah. So either way, you were a slave. You're a slave in the streets, or you're a slave to an institutionalized corporate system.
Exactly.
Whether we're even slaves in corporate America, we want to work every day. But, the problem is, and what this conversation today is about, saving our young black boys. And how can we reach them? Do you even think that they are reachable? The ones that are out there gang banging, stealing, killing, selling drugs. I mean, our communities every day, there's black on black crime. I don't know what the answer is, or even if there is an answer, but there's something that we all need to do.
Well, the thing is, there's always hope.
Yeah.
Because, a lot of people said that I wouldn't live to see 18. So,
okay. How old are you now?
I'm 44.
44.
So the thing is, there's hope, and there is a way to save these young lives. The thing is,
where does it start, you think?
It starts at home.
It does.
It starts in the house.
It does.
And it starts with the men that help produce these young men.
Yes.
It's going to take the men to make a stand and get back into their rightful places in the family structure in order to save these young brothers. Yes. Because the thing is, most young men that join gangs and become drug pushers, it's because they've lost their sense of identity.
Yes.
They don't have any validation. They don't have any affirmation, no motivation, no inspiration.
And they want to belong.
Exactly.
They need the sense of family that they didn't get at home.
So anybody that gives them that sense of love and acceptance, that's who they're going to cling to. And 9 times out of 10 in the streets is going to be dope pushers and gangbangers.
Yeah, they get a lot of love, because we all have the innate yearning to belong, to feel love. And the way that people feel love, whether children feel love, is with structure. With discipline, with someone caring enough about you, not to give you everything, but to teach you and show you by example. We now are at least 4, 5, 6, or maybe 7 or 8 generations of young black boys who are growing up without their fathers.
Exactly.
And so when you have that many generations, what's happening is our young boys are growing up without fathers. And their fathers can't teach them how to be fathers because nobody taught them. So you have generations now of fatherless children. And one of my guests, Dietrich Salter, he said a few months ago when he came on, and his story is similar to yours, is that the absence of fathers has caused more devastation to the black community than drugs and alcohol ever will. You can't teach and be something that you never saw an example of. If you can't be a father or a responsible man if you never saw one.
And that's something that I can attest to, because it took me to go to prison and seek a consistent and an intimate relationship with God.
Yes.
In order for me to realize what authentic manhood really looks like. So the thing is,
he had to set you down.
Exactly. Basically, prison to me was like in the Bible where you talk about the children of Israel, God basically placed me on the backside of the desert, but it was for my own good.
For your own good. So prison, like so often you hear stories where men go to jail and that is where they find God or sense of God or sense of purpose, is because you were still.
Well.
And your freedom taken away.
Well, the thing is with me, my situation was a little different because I was brought up in the church.
Okay.
You know,
so many are.
I went to church every Sunday. My grandmother and my sister, they took me to church. So I always knew God. I knew the word. But actually, the deciding factor in my life when I ended up going to federal prison.
Okay. Was it the third time?
The third time.
The third time, okay.
Was the fact that now my actions were affecting and hurting someone else because the mother of my kids was pregnant with my son when I went to prison. That was my first child.
How old were you?
I was 26 years old.
Okay.
So at that time, I said in my mind and I made up in my heart that I wanted better for my son. I wanted my son to have a better life than what I had. And I didn't want the streets to raise my son the way that I did. So at that time, I made up in my mind that it was time for me to make a transition, to make a transformation, to become a better man so that I could be an example to my son when I got out, because I came to the understanding, the realization that my son was going to emulate what he seen me do, not what he heard me say.
That's the truth.
So
that is the truth. And so was your son born before you became incarcerated that last time, or he was born after you went in?
Actually, he was born about 45 days after I was in prison.
So you missed his birth?
Well, actually, he was 12 years old before I came home. So I watched him grow up in the visiting room and on pictures, you know what I'm saying, through the mail.
But he knew that you got to see him on visiting days, right?
Well, like the first 4 or 5 years, I was here in Memphis and close to home to where his mother was able to bring him to see me. But the last 7 years of my incarceration, I basically didn't see him, period.
Okay. And what kind of relationship do you have today with your son?
We have a very close-knit relationship because, you know, I came home and I modeled some things to him that were contrary to.
So you were still communicating to him.
Exactly.
Okay. He knew you.
Yes, we built a close and an intimate bond the first 5 years before I got shipped all over the country. Okay,
I got you. Okay. But we're going to pause right now and just read some of the comments because there's so many people signed on here. Believe it or not, we only got about 15 more minutes. We may go over because this is such an in-depth conversation. But I want to go back and just say hi to a few people who have signed on. Wow, so many people have signed on. Lisa Archery, you know who that is, says thanks. Angeline Lee says thanks, Tasha Ransom. Lisa Archer again says, hi, Brian, from Lisa and Angeline. She says again, hi, Brother Brian. Anita Rogers says, good evening, everyone. Hello, ABT. Okay, hi. Lisa says, I love you, Brian. Bill Claxton has joined. Thanks, Venus. Sheila Lee says, okay, here. Marquita Jones has joined. I can't pronounce this name. Katisha Malone Hankins joined. Paula Weber, thank you, Paula. Michelle Denise Hull says, keep sewing, Brother Brian. I love you, and may God continue to lead you and be the head of your life. Barbara Johnson has joined. Lavita Yancey, thank you, Lavita. Anita Rogers says, Brian is adorable, love him to pieces. Patricia Hayes has joined out of Cincinnati. Kelly Pearson Alcaraz has joined. Hi. Clyde Bledsoe. Hi, Clyde from Binghamton. Melissa Martin, thank you. Jay Worth says, GKP in here. What's good? You know who that is? What does GKP mean? Is that some secret code? Kathleen Warren, thank you. Kathleen has joined. Black Angel LA has joined. Annette Jones has joined. Trina Wright says, but God. Earl Rufus has joined. Clyde Bledsoe says, it's hard to stop selling drugs. The money is too good. How do you know that, Clyde? I went to school with Clyde Bledsoe. Chris Buford says, I see you, big homie. Everybody got a story to tell. Salute. Nicole Williams Jackson says, money. She says, power of that feeling. And she's talking about why people do it. Nakisha Magnificent says, God is good. Salute you, homeboy. You know who that is? Okay. Barbara Banner has joined. Robin Allen, thank you. Look at the love going across the screen. Monica Banks says, my God changed. Thank you, Monica. Nicole Jackson says, that has no fear of or compassion. Wow, so many people have joined on. Michelle Denise Hull says, nobody but God. Hi, Gail from Detroit. Gail, Mississippi Rucker. Chapman Rucker, thank you. Jay Work says truth. Now, what is GKP? He's saying that again. What is GKP, Jay? Gail says, hi there, my friend. Enjoy. Thank you, Gail. My sister Cindy has joined. Stacy Foster. K. Marie Shackelford has joined. Cindy says, always hope. There is always hope. Sherry Davis has joined. Thank you. Jay says again, sometimes we have to be sat down in order for us to really learn how to stand up. That is the truth, Jay. Thank you for that. Tell me what GKP means. Shantae Knox has joined. She says, his story, God will get your attention one way or the other. That is the truth. Thank you guys for joining. Michael Tola, thank you. You're always supporting every day. Sherry Davis says hi. And Rod Moore says, love the work you do, brother. You know who that is? Okay. Thank you guys for joining. I do ask that you please share this on your page today. This is a very, very interesting topic that we're talking about because we are losing our black boys. We need our black men to stand up. Be a father, even if it's not your child. Stand up and grab a young boy by the hand because what is happening today is really genocide.
Yes, absolutely.
It is the emasculation of our black boys. If they're not in gangs, they dressing like women. They got ponytails on the top of their heads. They're so feminine acting and irresponsible. There's so many issues that our black men are facing. And we as a village have let them down. Not pointing fingers, we as a village have lost our black boys. And when you lose a generation of black men, you lose manhood and what it means to be a man. And I believe that we can get that back. I believe we can save our children. I think we can save our black boys, but it's up to each and every one of us, the whole village, because it used to be where the village could tell any child what to do. Well, leave them alone. Stop doing that, boy.
you have too many parents today that are being their kids' friends,
yes,
rather than being the parent.
Yes.
And the thing is, you have a lot of young women that are having kids at a young age.
Yes.
So by the time the kid is 15, 16 years old, you got 31, 32-year-old parents
yes.
that are smoking weed with
yes.
their kids. They're going to the club with their kids. So therefore, there's no accountability. Yes. There's no discipline. And the kids have lost their respect for
yes.
the parent. So how can you discipline a child and try to lead them
yes.
in the right way when the kids are seeing you doing the
yes,
wrong thing?
Yes, exactly. If you get high, mama, you get high, daddy, your kids gonna get high.
Exactly.
If you got a revolving door of relationships, that's what your kids are gonna do. They're gonna repeat what you do. And it is up to us, the whole village, to save our young black boys. Even the girls, that's a whole other conversation too. They need saving too. But when you, and the thing about it is, the genocide has been happening. Slavery ain't over. We've become contributors of the slavery now. You know what I mean? We participate in it not knowingly, but every day that we keep silent and we let our kids do everything they want to do and give them everything they want and don't give them any discipline or structure or nurturing, the streets is calling. The streets is calling.
One thing about the streets, there's a saying about the streets.
Uh-huh.
You know, the streets is open 24/7.
24/7.
It's never closed.
Never closed. That is the truth. It's accepting every minute of every second. It's waiting on your son. It's waiting on your daughter. And if you're not home and you're not disciplining and you're not giving them structure and guidance and all the basic things you need, just buying them every pair of shoes they want, every video game, and giving them everything, you are abusing them. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, because the thing is, you have to teach these kids a work ethic.
A work ethic.
Because the thing is, the streets is not going to do for them what you as a parent is going to do.
Yeah.
So you have to teach them how to earn the things that they're going to get in
Say that again. Say it one more time.
You're going to have to teach them how to earn the things that they're going to get in life. It basically boils down to the saying, you can give a person a fish and it'll only feed them for a day. But if you teach a person how to fish, they can feed themselves for a lifetime.
That's an African proverb. Give a child a fish and you feed him for a day. Teach him how to fish and you feed him for life. And we need our black men to teach our black boys how to fish, how to provide, how to stand up and be a man and not just a male, because society is emasculating them and making them feminine. That's one of my other pet peeves is, you know, through fashions and trends and all the things, the men are becoming more and more feminine. And it's because the mothers are allowing them to be, you know, because the fathers are allowing them to be. Then you have the drugs, the gangs, the violence, and all the other things factored into that. We've got to step up and be some strong parents. We've got to let the kids know that we are the authority.
Exactly.
What I say, go. And I don't have any kids anymore, but I did raise a son without his father, but I didn't use that as an excuse. I just had to be stronger.
There's not enough parents that are getting in their children's business.
Yes.
They're not being intimate in their lives. They're not getting involved. They're not going to the schools.
Listening. Yes.
They're not checking their backpacks.
Yes.
They're not meeting the parents of the friends that they're hanging with.
Yes.
So basically, you know, there's no accountability. So our kids are just running around in the street aimless with no guidance. No guidance.
Well, I gave them everything. That's the biggest thing that you hear. I gave them everything. You can't give it. You need to give them responsibilities. You need to give them hope. You need to give them accountability. Giving them a pair of Jordans every time they want a pair of video games. Giving is killing kids today. You know what I'm saying? They have no idea, no work ethic that you need to work for this. That when you work for something, then you have to pay for it yourself. We need those things, and we need the village in our communities, and that's you and I and everybody. We need the village to step in.
They need to see. They need to see a lot of these kids that have made mistakes. They need to understand that, you know, we all have made mistakes.
Yes.
But mistakes can sometimes be a good thing, depending on the perspective in which you look at it.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, if you learn something from the mistake, that prevents you from making that mistake again down the line, then that mistake that you made, it becomes beneficial in your life. And the thing is, a lot of these kids need to see individuals like myself that have made mistakes. But the thing is, in spite of me making a mistake, I've made the transition. I've made the metamorphosis from the caterpillar to the butterfly. At one time, you know, the same community that I was sowing this poison into, now, you know what I'm saying, I have the responsibility of coming back and trying to clean up what I messed up.
But you clean up what you messed up.
So that's, you know, that's what it's all about now. And that's what I do now. I commit and I dedicate myself to basically being a surrogate father in the lives of these young brothers. And the work that I do as a member of the 901 Block Squad, that's what we do. And Block stands for Better Lives, Opportunities, and Community.
I love it. So let's slow it down right now, because what you said is powerful. You are a part of the 901 Block, BLOC club. And tell us again, what does that stand for, BLOC?
It's the 901 Block Squad. And Block stand for Better Lives, Opportunities, and Communities.
I love it.
And what we do is we have a contract through juvenile court to where they refer all the young men that are in gangs and have gun crimes. So the mission of the 901 Block Squad, what we do is try to reduce gun violence by empowering, equipping, and bridging the gap at risk youth in their family. So what we do, we come into the home after a referral is made. We do an assessment with these young men. We see what the problem is in the home, at school, and in their lives as a collective whole. What we do after doing the assessment and asking the necessary questions is we build an action plan.
So you go in and talk to his family.
We talk to the family
and assess the family dynamic. To see what we need to do to help the family. Help this young man.
After the initial assessment, what we do is we form an action plan. And basically what we do is we basically hold this young man's hand and walk him through the steps to make the transition. that he needs to make in order to become a positive and productive citizen in society.
Yes. But the thing is, you're getting them after they've made a mistake and they've gone into prison or juvenile court.
Well, not necessarily. We do intervention, but we also do prevention as well. We go to these schools. You know, we have roundtable meetings. We have access to the schools to where we go and we speak to these individuals. We build relationships with these kids. And what we do, we just try to pour ourselves into them and spend quality time with them, getting to know them. And as you get to know a child, he'll open up and he'll tell you what's going on with him.
His household.
And as we get to know what's going on with him, then, you know, we plug into their lives and we fill in the gaps in the areas that they're lacking.
Oh my God. So this organization, has it been around a while? Who founded it?
Well, actually, the organization actually started in 2012 and the founder actually died. It was actually a vision of Mayor A.C. Ward. You know, so it's been around like 5 years, and it initially started with like 5 members. And then in 2012, and in 2014, when I actually started, they added 10 more members, and now they're fixing to add 10 more members.
So is this an organization that any other Black man can get involved in?
Actually,
what does it take to be a part of this Block 901 Block Squad? It's
basically an organization that the only criteria is, you know, your past doesn't disqualify you. But the thing is, you have to be partaking in positive things in the community. You have to be passionate about helping the community, the kids that you're working with. And you just have to be genuine in making a change and a transition, not just in the child's life, but you have to be living a positive and productive life as well.
And that is the truth, because there are a lot of organizations out there, and I want to just bring light to that. If you are a Black man, is it just for men?
No, actually, we actually have a couple of women that actually deal with young ladies as well.
Because it's something that I would like to see if I can help in any way. I'm in so many things, but I have so much to offer as far as educating young girls and boys, financial literacy, and those type of things. But if you want to get involved, we have some Black men on here that are watching today. If you need an organization that you want to get involved with, and you can start an organization or just help a young boy in your family, in your neighborhood. But this particular organization is called 901 Block, BLOC Squad, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, is there a website?
Yes, ma'am. We actually have a website as well.
I will look that up and post it later on, so that if anybody wants to join or know any more about it, or know some young boys that may need to get that, you know, assistance from, because we need our Black men to stand up. It's time for us to put down the foolishness, the silliness, and the differences between the mothers of our children, the fathers of our children, and do what's best for the children. You know what I mean? So whatever the hostilities are in relationships, whatever the divisions are, we've got to put all that to the side, because we're losing our children. And those children are killing us in the parking lots and in the, you know, grocery store. And it is up to the village. We are a village of people. We didn't come from this. That's not what our ancestors left. That's not what they died and sacrificed for our young boys today to be endangered. And we are part of the endangerment.
That's the thing. A lot of our people, we don't even know who we are.
We don't know. We don't. We've lost so much understanding of who we are and why we're here. And healing has to happen. But it starts with both of us. It starts with all of us. I thank you so much today. We're just about out of time. We have about 2 more minutes. It's been a blessing to talk to you today. So, Brian wrote a book before we in the show today. He's an author now. So we didn't finish. We're going to go past 7 o'clock today, because once you got in jail that last time and you were having your son, I do want to finish that up so people are understanding your transformation.
Right.
And you having a child gave you a different perspective, did it not?
Yes, it did. It made me want to prepare myself and equip myself from the transition back to the street.
Okay.
Because I knew at that time that I didn't want to come back into society and partake in illegal activity.
Okay.
So what I did was I started with education.
Okay.
Actually, I went to school while I was incarcerated.
Okay.
I took a correspondence course from Ashworth College down in La Crosse, Georgia.
Okay.
And I got my associate's degree in psychology.
Okay.
I got my certification as a personal trainer through the NFPT, which is the National Federation of Professional Trainers.
So you went back to school and took the advantage of this negative situation in jail.
I did what they didn't want me to do.
Yeah, educate yourself.
I educated myself and prepared myself.
But when you got out this time, you wasn't coming back.
Exactly. So in the process of that, I wrote the book. Once I came home,
you wrote the book in jail?
I wrote the book while I was in prison.
Okay.
I came home, I self-published the book. Nobody touched that book from the cover to the ISBN number, to the copyright. Everything about that book, you know, I did it myself, and I started my own publishing company, Script to Street Publications.
Yes.
I sold the books underground, sold them on Amazon.
Yep.
I made my first $30,000 off selling my books.
Selling books.
Underground.
Is this book still available?
I still have a few copies.
I got one today. I'm
And
gonna be reading.
the thing about it is,
Is it a true story?
No, it's fiction, but I just highlighted, you know, some of the things that I had experienced and seen in my life, you know, through growing up in the neighborhood, which I grew up in. And I started investing in real estate.
Okay.
So I started my own real estate company. Actually, I'm the CEO of Tillman Investment Incorporated. So now what I do is individuals that have been through the hardships of life, you know, don't have good credit, and, you know, hit a bump in the road. I rent properties in the same neighborhood, in the same area that I grew up in. I sold poison. Now I make myself available to give those individuals nice, you know, affordable living in those same neighborhoods. So right now, I think I probably own about right at $500,000 worth of real estate.
Wow. What I like about his story, you guys, is that he used to sell poison. Now he's selling prosperity. That's powerful.
Exactly.
To the people that he used to sell poison to, drugs and violence and all of that, now he's offering them the opportunity to be prosperous. That's a total transformation.
But I think one thing that I want to share, and I hope that some young man that's out there in them streets selling their poison, I hope you can understand, because I can speak your language.
Yes.
You know, I went from selling bricks of cocaine to selling brick houses. But there's no difference, because it's the same skill set. Because if you take a brick of cocaine, you can sell it whole, make a few thousand. You can break it down to ounces, make a few more thousand. Or you can cook it up and sell rocks and maximize the profit. But what's the difference? What's the difference in the skill set if I buy a house and I renovate and I sell it whole, make a few thousand? I rent it out every month, make a few more thousand. Or I take a door and put it up in the living room in a 4-bedroom home and make it a 5-bedroom rooming house and get $100 a week, $500 a week. $2,000 a month, $24,000 a year. It's the same thing. I'm still doing numbers. It's the same thing.
And you know, when I watched, I'm a Biggie Smalls. I played that at the beginning. When I read his story and watched a lot of interviews of him before he died, he said the same thing. That the same mentality that it took for him to sell drugs, he just flipped it and started selling music. The same everything.
But you have skills.
Yes.
People think that because you come from the streets, you don't have skills. Okay, as a drug dealer, you have marketing skills because you make it available. You make people know
your customers.
You make people know what you have. Okay, the thing is, as a drug dealer, you've mastered supply and demand.
Yes.
When there's a big supply, when there's a small supply and a big demand, the price goes up. So you just mastered the skill of supply and demand.
Yes.
So how you don't have no skills? Because you come from the street.
Yeah. You really have a lot of business skills, actually.
Absolutely.
The thing is that the society and the educational system that educated us, unfortunately, the same people that enslaved us educated us, so they did not give us an education that empowered us, and part of that lack of education was finances. They didn't teach us anything about personal finances or business finances, and that is why we're part of the problem today. But life is a business, y'all. Marriage is a business, raising children is a business, but we have no business plans. We were taught not to understand life as a business.
And one of the main things when it comes to finance is that we as a people are going to have to adapt to, is that a lot of us think once you go get some money, then go get you some credit. No, credit is the name of the game in corporate America.
Yes, it is.
Get your credit together, and then you can go and utilize somebody else's money to fund, your dreams into reality. Because the thing is, credit is only character. It's only integrity. It's saying that we'll give you something now, you will pay us back. You will pay us back over the period of time until you pay us off.
Yes.
So the thing is,
financial literacy is what it is.
It's important.
It's very important. And to run your life like a business is very important, because life is running your life like a business. It's just that you are not. And we're not. Our families are businesses. And once that is part of the financial literacy and the literacy that I'm offering. And the way that I want to help outside of this show is to teach us the business of life, because we have no education about that. We go to church, the only financial literacy we get is to pay your tithes. Or what you supposed to do with the other 90%? You know what I mean?
Right there, right.
And in your life, how do you manage your money? Because life is treating you every day like you are a business. You have an account, you have a bank account, a savings account, assets, liabilities, but we're not running our lives like we are the CEO. You know what I mean? Or the CEO, or we're the chief operating officer, whatever it is. And so literacy is, lack of knowledge truly is at the root of all of our social ills in our community. It's the lack of knowledge. We're being preyed upon in every way possible. I do thank you. We are about out of time. I do want to read a few more comments here and give Brian, let him close the show out here just shortly. The last comment I want to read, let's see. Cindy Henson says, okay. Oh, okay. Thanks. Sounds like they know what they're talking about. I'm not sure what part of the conversation she's talking about. Warren Williams has joined. Thank you, Warren. Reno Newsom has joined from Detroit. Hi, my friend. Anita Rogers says, good evening, Jay Worth. Love, brother, GKP. Y'all gonna have to tell me what this GKP means. So is that some type of street language I need to know? Jasmine Shamir from Detroit has joined. My cousin Antoine Lawrence has joined. Thank you. Anita Rogers says, thanks for sharing your story, Brian. You are a great blessing, my friend, not only to me, but many others. God bless you always. Jay Worth says, true to good. GKP. Tell me what GKP means, Brian.
You got to ask Jay Worth.
Okay, Jay Worth, tell me what that means. Truda Robinson says, excellent job, author Brian Tillman. Anita says again, love you, Sister Truda, and thanks for reminding me. Look at the love. Thank you, Michael. You are popping up all this love. Truda Robinson says, you are a godsend to our city. That's wonderful. Shantae Knox says, poison to prosperity. Yes, that's right. He used to sell poison. Now he's selling prosperity. Anita says, and he's so humble. Tasha says, thanks, nobody but God. That is the truth. Thank you guys for joining. There's so many other comments. Jay Worth says, respect Amber Board, GKP. What is GKP? I don't know what that means. Okay, thank you. Warren says, good show, Amber. Big ups, brother. Warren Williams, he's from Binghamton. He's a great guy. He was on my show earlier. Okay. Jay Worth says, GKP means Gold Key Productions. I like that. Did you know that's what that meant?
No.
Okay. Our time is almost up here. Well, we are out of time, but I'm the CEO and I can go over as much as I want time-wise, but I try to stay disciplined. It is about 7:08. If no one else has any other comments, do you want to tell us something that you're working on today, or what your future holds for you, Brian?
Yes. Right now through the 901 Block Squad, in collaboration with my church and my new pastor, Pastor Christopher William of the Faith Covenant Church, we're about to put together a brother-to-brother fellowship dinner, and basically what we're trying to do is bring gang members from across the city to the tables, leave your flags outside, and we're going to sit down at the table, man to man as brothers, and we're going to try to get to the root of the problem of what's really going on in these communities. And as men, we're going to connect with the individuals that say that they're OGs, that are the shot callers of these organizations. And if we can get them to come together, as men, then, you know, we can alleviate some of the killing, some of the violence, some of the crime in our community. Basically what I'm saying is, if you're a leader, then take control of your community and lead in a positive way.
Yes.
So the thing is, that's what real men do.
Yes.
Real men lead these young men to college rather than to the graveyards and to the penitentiary.
Say that. Say it one more time. Real men what?
They lead these kids to colleges rather than to the graveyards and to the penitentiary.
Yes. And when is this dinner going to be?
We're preparing a date because actually we want to do it in every area of the city.
Okay, so more than one?
Yes. Okay. We're gonna do it in every area of the city.
Okay.
You know, and right now we're ironing out the details. Okay. But Lord willing, by the grace of God, we're gonna bring this into fruition because it needs to be done.
Yes, it does.
And the thing is, because
so you're gonna go out into the streets and get some boys, young men, to try to get them to sit down at the table and talk.
Yes, because the thing is, you know, with me having gang ties and all the other individuals that are part of 901 Block Squad, all of us are ex-gang members, you know, on the most part. Yes. So therefore, we have what you call an LTO, which is a license to operate in the streets. You know, I'm good in any hood, so I can go north, south, east, west, west.
LTO,
and, you know,
license to what?
To operate.
To operate.
You know, the police and other individuals that, you know, that haven't lived, you know, the life that they live, they're not going to be receptive to them, so they can't talk to them.
That's true.
You know, I've lived the life that they're living, and I've lived and made it through the consequences of the irrational choices that they're making if they continue to make them. So I can give them, you know, the deep and intimate details of the lifestyle that they're living. So a lot of these young brothers, you know, I know their parents, they watch me grow up. They watch me bang. They watch me slang. They watch me hang. So now, you know, they respect the transition that I've made as a man and what I'm doing in the community because, you know, I give back, you know, backpack, school supplies, school uniforms, I feed the homeless a couple times.
No more poison.
It's all about life, you know, because the thing is, at the end of the day, you know, the main thing we must impart into these young men to give them hope. We're going to have to teach these young men about God. And that's what it's all about.
That's the truth.
Bringing fame rather than shame to God.
Yes.
It's all about Jesus.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Thank you so much, Brian. If no one else has any more comments, I thank you guys. I do ask you again to please post this, share this show today on your page so that people can understand that here is a young man who went from poisoning his community to bringing prosperity to it. His name is Brian Tillman, and I thank you so much for being a guest today. I'm honored to have met you today and have you share your transformation. You're going to help somebody. You are helping people. God bless you, brother. This is Amphra. I will be back next Sunday, March the 4th. I will be having Christy Taylor from 103.5 radio personality, radio girl. She had to cancel a couple of weeks ago because she was sick, but she's going to come back and tell us all the things that she has going on. The week after that, I'm going to have, March the 11th, I'm going to have Walter Casey from Leicester Community Center, who has been there for like 35 years, and all the things that he's done to keep Binghamton, the kids in Binghamton safe. He's been around for Leicester Community Center since its opening. And I will be doing an expose on him, and he's going to come and we're going to talk about Binghamton specifically and his life and how he dedicated his life to serve and how he's helped so many people. So March is already booked. I'll see you next Sunday. I get high on Sundays. I love it. This has been a great conversation. I'm asking our Black men to please stand up. Please grab a hold of a young man and help him to reach manhood and be a man and be responsible. So this is Amphra with You Are My Sister Talk Show at FIG Productions, where we don't employ people, we empower them. Thank you, and I'll see you next week. Thank you, Brian. Bye-bye.